for the scheduling on that, but thank you for being here. A question for Mr. Nasser. This has to do with uranium, and I know that in your written testimony you touched on this, but I'd like to just clarify, get your thoughts. Uranium is used, of course, for nuclear power plants, and that's a specific interest to me in my state. Idaho National Lab is instrumental in research for nuclear power, and our availability for that, our resources for that, are primarily outside of the U.S. And so I want to just have you talk for a minute about what are your concerns when it comes to domestic production? What are the issues there? And is there a reason why, from a policy standpoint, we don't have more of that domestic sourcing?
Thank you, Congressman, for that question. As a science agency, I obviously wouldn't be able to comment on policy issues. But what we are concerned with and what our analysis draws upon are supply risks due to three factors that we look at. We look at the likelihood of a disruption, our exposure, meaning the United States exposure to foreign supply disruptions, and our ability to weather the storm through our economic vulnerability to those disruptions. And so those are the factors that we look at. And in terms of disruption potential, we are looking at whether or not the suppliers to the United States are reliable suppliers, whether there will be potential for a disruption due to the simple fact that the production is concentrated either in one trading partner or in a geographic region. So those are the things that concern us most.
So right now, how much of our current supply comes from domestic sources? Can you tell me that?
It really depends by commodity. For some commodities like molybdenum, we are net exporters. For other commodities like gallium, we are importing 100%.
I'm talking specifically about uranium in this case.
Uranium. Our center doesn't necessarily cover uranium production and consumption, but my understanding is that we are highly net import reliant. Most of our imports are coming in currently from Australia and a smaller degree from Canada.
That brings up another question. Why is that? Why is uranium not of interest to you? And you say that's not covered by your jurisdiction. Why not?
Sorry, I believe that is due to a statute that requires the Energy Information Administration to cover uranium and not the National Minerals Information Center at the U.S. Geological Survey.
Okay. So, but your understanding is that we are highly reliant outside of the U.S.
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay. Mr. Eggert, I'd like to talk to you for just a second, please. Idaho provides a significant amount of phosphate that is used for fertilizer and other products, and that's important for domestic food production and other uses. There are 2 phosphate mines in my state, in Idaho, and both of those are put at risk currently due to some lawsuits and other issues. The Department of Interior did not include phosphate on its list of critical minerals in 2022. It has been previously, but it wasn't as of 2022. So if we lost domestic production of phosphate, do you think that would trigger that being put on a critical mineral list?
I would expect so. The phosphate clearly is essential for fertilizer and in turn agricultural production. The United States is currently a major producer of phosphate rock and phosphorus for fertilizers, and if we lost domestic production capabilities, that would certainly elevate its ranking in any list of or evaluation of material criticality.
So if there was we've got about 35% of our dependence on that from combination of China and Russia. So, and then just the local stock is in danger of being shut down with current litigation standards. So have you tracked that? Do you see a danger of supply shock given our susceptibility to those circumstances?
I don't have detailed knowledge of that particular circumstance, but it sounds worthy of evaluation.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to follow up with Mr. Eggert on that at a later point, and I've used my time, so I yield back. Thank you.
Sounds good.